Hi and welcome. I'm trying to learn history. Today the Treaty of Amiens, and after we've done it, we're going to do short impingement training. And if you participate in the short impingement training, this is the honest. No, this is part 8, or whatever. The War of the Second Coalition started well for the coalition, with successes in Egypt, in the talking about the war. And the coalition had successes in Egypt, Italy, and Germany. The success proved to be short-lived, however. After France's victory at the battles of Marengo and Hohenlinden, Austria, Russia, and Naples sued for peace, with Austria eventually signing the Treaty of Luneville. Okay, the Second War of the Coalition must have been around 799, 1800, starting. Went good for the coalition. This must have been Britain and Germany, Austria, maybe even Russia, Naples. But then the French had victories at Marengo and Hohenlinden. And when Austria, Russia, and Naples wanted peace, and Austria signed it in the Treaty of Luneville. Horatio Nelson's victory at the Battle of Copenhagen on the 2nd April 1801 halted the creation of a League of Armed Neutrality and led to a negotiated ceasefire. Now, who is Horatio Nelson the leader of? There was a battle of his army at the Battle of Copenhagen, and that halted the creation of a League of Armed Neutrality. I don't know anything about it, but just from the title, it seems to be people who keep neutral out of his wars against France and its what is it called? Its friends, but who are armed. But they came out of a negotiated ceasefire. The French First Consul, Napoleon Bonaparte, first made true proposals to British Foreign Secretary Lord Grenville as early as 1799. Okay, Napoleon Bonaparte was the first consul in France, and he made truce proposals, not truth, they said truce proposals. So proposals to come to a ceasefire, to make peace. To the British Foreign Secretary, Lord Grenville. Lord Grenville was the British Foreign Secretary, and Henry Ellington the Prime Minister. In 1799 were these proposals done by Napoleon Bonaparte silently. Because of the hardline stance of Grenville, the British Foreign Secretary, and the Prime Minister, William Pitt the Younger, so in Britain the Prime Minister seems to have changed, now it was William Pitt the Younger, their distrust of Bonaparte and obvious defects in the proposals, they were rejected out of hand. Okay, Napoleon Bonaparte started in 1799 to make proposals to come to a ceasefire, but the British Prime Minister, William Pitt the Younger, and the British Foreign Secretary, Grenville, said no because they distrusted Napoleon, and also the problems with the proposals that they didn't work out really. However, the British Prime Minister William Pitt the Younger resigned in February 1801 over domestic issues and was replaced by the more accommodating Henry Ellington. So now Henry Ellington was Prime Minister. So first William Pitt the Younger and then Henry Ellington and Britain Prime Minister. At that point Britain was motivated by the danger of a war with Russia. And via the national goals, the United Kingdom wanted the peace to enable restoration of trade with continental Europe. It also wanted to end its isolation from other powers and achieve the goal by a rapprochement of Russia that provided the momentum to negotiate a treaty with France. And now the new Prime Minister, Henry Ellington, brought Britain now to the point where it was more motivated by the danger of a war with Russia. The Foreign Secretary now of Britain had also changed, and it was now Robert Jenkins or Lord Hawkesbury. At that point, Britain was motivated by the danger of a war with Russia. Ellington's Foreign Secretary, Robert Jenkinson, not Hawkesbury, there's a comma, there's two names, immediately opened communication with Louis Wilmil Otto, the French commissioner for prisoners of war in London, through whom Bonaparte had made his earlier proposals. Okay, immediately the new Foreign Secretary, either Robert Jenkinson or Lord Hawkesbury, started to talk to Louis Gourmet Otto, who was the French commissioner for the prisoners of war in London, and over this Louis Gourmet and Otto Napoleon had made its proposal for ceasefire in the past. Hawkesbury, okay, so his name is Hawkesbury. Hawkesbury stated, of the one of the French, stated that he wanted to open discussions on terms for a peace agreement. So he said that it was a later. Otto is the one of. Hawkesbury was the English, Otto is the French. Otto generally under detailed instructions from Bonaparte. That's interesting. Otto also engaged in negotiation with Hawkesbury in the mid-1801. Okay, so he was telling to the British people what Napoleon wanted, the leader of the French, the First Council of France, but he under-detailed it. It's interesting, because the peace lasted only for 1 year and then the Napoleon War was gone on or started for over a decade again. Unhappy with the dialogue with Otto, so with the French, the British Hawkesbury sent diplomat Anthony Merry to Paris, who opened the second line of communication with the French foreign minister. So the one line of communication from Bonaparte to Otto and then to Hawkesbury didn't work well, and the whole politic of Europe and the war and the millions of people affected by it was done over one communication line, over 1 2 people, of which one was under detailing the proposals of one person, the middle person was doing that, and no way had the idea, and did open the second line with sending out a diplomat named Anthony Merry to Paris. And with this Anthony Merry then started to talk to the French foreign minister Charles Maurice de Talleyrand-Peyraud. By mid-September, written negotiations had progressed to the point that Hawkesbury and Otto met to draft a preliminary agreement. Okay, mid-September, when did it all start? We don't know. Pitt resigned in February. Immediately did it start. Okay, they needed around 8 months to come to the point. After 8 months, they signed the preliminary agreement in London, which was published the next day. Okay, one first agreement of this treaty of, and we're reading it in French. We have 3 articles in. The voice keeps going. I can do a 4th one. All they said so far is yes, these are big decisions, but what was said, I mentioned in the last part, that Britain gives up its territories as a recent conquest, but it can't keep Ceylon and Trinidad. Yes, these are important things, but why does it need 8 months? Now we want to find it really out, so we actually have to go deeper in than just reading about the Treaty of Amiens, and in French we are reading the real Treaty of Amiens in English and French, and we even have to go more into the subject. Are there protocols somewhere, maybe? How do we know that? That is the question. How Otto under-detailed it? How do we know it? Is that the opinion of one of the persons said in a diary, or are there protocols of what was said actually? Maybe by Napoleon, what was sent on, what then by the middleman, by the middle person Otto was under-detailed, and then what came on. Now we want to have these details. No, I completely actually forgot the time. Now that was then signed. But we know that this is only the preliminary agreement. I don't know about preliminary, but it was only the preliminary agreement, and we know that the real one lasted for only 1 year. It's not really much shorter than it needed to negotiate it. Now, we will do now a short impingement training. If you were here for history, the Treaty of Amiens, you can go directly to the next video. We will do now what are we going to do? We don't short impingement training. If you participate in the short impingement training, that's the argument. Go to the stated stance, and we're doing shoulder circles, forward, going back, up, in front, down. And now backwards, in front, up, back, and and in front. For 7 months, February until September, 7 months. And now we're doing the next exercise. We're doing the word lifter. Go to side stance, long arms, strong fists, and we're bringing these arms. Now first down together, and return these arms to the inside. Now the arms to the outside, shoulders down, hands together. And the arms again down, shoulders down, hands together. Arms to the outside, shoulders down. And release. Something similar, arms to the outside, hands onto fists, everything in front. Have your arms in front, shoulders down, hands together. And arms again back. Shoulders up, hands in front. And again, the arms in front, shoulders down, hands together. And then last time the arms back, shoulders up, head in front. And release. And the next exercise, we are doing the shrug. The arms up, shrug, shoulders up. And this is down again. If this exercise causes pain or any other one, then don't do it. Again, the arms up, shoulders up, and again down. Again, the arms up, shoulders up, and all down. And next exercise. It's plastic curl. Arms together, down, to the outside. And down, and together, down, and together. And the last time together. Now we're doing the sundial. You can use also a tennis ball or something else. Have the long arm at the outside, and fall down, and try to catch it again. And now stretching. One arm in front, shoulders back and down. Pull the arm in, have flat fingers, try to relax the arm, go a bit back with the shoulder, and open the palm a bit up to the sky. And the other arm in front, shoulders back and down, pull the arm in, have flat fingers, try to relax the arm, go a bit back with the shoulder, and then the palm a bit up to the sky. Okay, that was the short impingement training. Now I think, of course, the posts, the letter sending had to take some time. But with the negotiation, it is not the negotiation taking the time. It is that the demands of the negotiations are changing based on other things which are changing in the whole world. It's not that we're sitting there on a table and saying yes, no, yes, no, yes, no for 8 months. It's just that we are having these proposals, and only if the conditions surrounding, maybe in a completely different country, are changing, but when their demands are changing and when it becomes movement into the negotiations. Inside of the negotiations themselves, nothing happens. It's just that we're waiting a couple of months and another battle had happened and maybe another politician is there, new prime minister, new foreign secretary, in whatever country, and that changes the whole conditions of the negotiation, and now the negotiations can go a step forward. So it's not that the negotiations does the process, it's just that the whole world surrounding changes a bit, and now the negotiation also changes a little bit with it. I don't know. I thank you very much, and until the next time.